Hey guys, Tinker Taylor here today, bringing you another A to Z build challenge video. I finally got the intro right. Not saying Pokemon build challenge, but I bet you as soon as we go back to the Pokemon, it's not even a Pokemon build challenge, Pokemon build series, sorry. But as soon as we go back to that series, I am 100% going to be talking about the A to Z challenge by accident. It's going to be something that I know for sure is going to happen. But anyway, today is the letter F, and we are working on a fast food restaurant, and we end up actually building two. I'd say one fast food restaurant and one fast drink restaurant. It's not a restaurant. Fast drink place, I guess. So the first one, which we start off with, is sort of kind of like a KFC, I guess. I don't know. I didn't want to pick any one particular food brand and roll with it, but for a while, yeah, I was a little bit obsessed with KFC, and I'm being very good. I haven't had it in a while, but I wanted this one to feel like, I don't know about you guys in other countries, but people in Australia might understand that, I don't know, like maybe 10, 15 years ago, places like McDonald's and whatnot used to be fun. They used to have like lots of, I don't know, it was very, very child oriented. It was very much like there was lots of fun little things that would catch kids' attention, and they were very big into the pet play place area, and they had like, if you wanted to do birthday parties there, not all of them did, I don't think, but there was definitely a few that did have like birthday party areas. And then like they started renovating them, and one by one they became a bit more corporate and a bit more dull, I guess. So yeah, I don't know, I kind of wanted to lean into more corporate but not dull. I wanted it to feel like they were like, ooh, we've got to be like super modern and hip and whatever, but they're still like a fast food restaurant, so it doesn't really make all that sense for them to be. But yeah, that's kind of the sort of idea and vibes that I got from it. And then the second one is a coffee shop inspired, a fast food coffee shop. I don't know if that makes any sense. Basically Starbucks, except not Starbucks. Yeah, I know Starbucks is particularly big in the US, but in Australia, it's really not that much of a thing here. Like it exists. There are some stores around, but they're not as popular. There's not many people I know who said, "Oh yeah, I went to Starbucks." Like a lot of people would be like, "I went to this local coffee shop." We have so many local coffee shops everywhere. Like every place you go to, there's always a local coffee shop. There's not many chain coffee shops that are known as like, oh, that's where you get your coffee from. Majority of people I know prefer to get their coffee from a local coffee store. And if they want a rush coffee, like Starbucks is a fast coffee. Like if you want to get a coffee and go, Starbucks is kind of the place to go. But most people who want that sort of coffee usually just go to McDonald's, which like I don't really like coffee. I have not been drinking it. I've tried it. I have definitely tried it. Definitely tried drinking it for a little bit to see what it was like, see if I got used to it. I know that like, oh, as you grow up your taste buds change, and I think the first time I ever had a coffee I was maybe 16, and I didn't like it, and I've been trying it ever since then, and yes, still don't like it. I don't know. I guess it's too bitter, maybe? I haven't really identified what I don't like about it. I just don't like the taste of it. And yeah, like the caffeine rush, it messes with my brain. Like if you guys think now that I stumble over my words and I sound like I have no idea what I'm talking about, you just wait until you see me on coffee. There was one of these streams where I say on coffee like it's a drug. No, I had ordered a frappe, not knowing that has coffee in it. Guys, I don't know coffee. I had no idea it had coffee. I didn't know. When you get a chocolate frappe from McDonald's, it's not got coffee in it. And I guess they do that for kids, so that they can have a chocolate drink. But I was like, you know what, I'm going to spice it up, and I'm going to get like a caramel or salted caramel or whatever flavor. It was some sort of caramel flavor. And I was like, I'm going to spice it up and be different. And yeah, it turns out frappes are coffee. I didn't know that. So I learned something new that day. But that entire stream, I maybe drank 2-3 mouthfuls of it. It really okay, maybe a little bit more than that. I drank I want to say like just under a quarter, but it was a regular medium, I think. And keep in mind that is an Australian medium, not any other country. Because I know the cup sizes everywhere are different. Like even just like meal sizes, not even just like cup sizes, but yeah, meal sizes in general are extremely different. But it was an Australian medium, I think, and I had maybe a quarter of it, so it wasn't really all that much coffee. And yeah, I was kind of bouncing off the walls for a while. And I couldn't string more than 2 thoughts together at a time. It was that was my max. I don't know, I just felt like, you know, when you're super busy and your brain's just like scattered and you've got to do all these things. It was like that, except I didn't have to do all these things. I was just doing one thing. I was streaming, and yeah, totally lost my whole ability to think. So I don't know how people drink it and not feel the same. When I drink tea, I don't feel that, because the caffeine in tea is slow acting. Not all teas have caffeine or have strong acting caffeine. In fact, I do have some sleep teas that don't have caffeine in them, and they're brilliant at like making you sleepy. But I drink the teas with caffeine in them. They're very slow acting, so although I may feel groggy for a little bit after drinking it, throughout the day I don't feel as tired, and it's just a very soft pick-me-up. And you know what, I know there's like a lot of people out there who are like, oh, coffee's better, oh, tea's better. I don't really care. If you like tea, you like tea. If you like coffee, you like coffee. I really don't, like, you drink whatever you want. This is how it reacts for me. You know, that it's kind of annoying, because I would like to enjoy, like, frappes sound like the ideal drink for me, but I don't like coffee, and it's so infuriating, because there's so many things out there that I don't like. And again, a lot of people have said, oh, you'll like it when you grow up, and you know, your taste buds will change, and this and that and whatever, and it never has. I still to this day do not like a lot of the things that as a kid I never liked. And it's really infuriating. I struggle with trying new foods. I really do. But I will try new things every now and then, and I find that, oh, okay, maybe I do like this thing. That's interesting. Like, as a kid, I hated it, but now, not so bad. And, you know, things like mushrooms. I used to hate mushrooms, but then I had a mushroom sauce once where the mushroom itself wasn't in the... I just had, like, the sauce bit. Everyone else had, like, mushrooms within their sauce bit, and I loved it. I thought it tasted so good. So I started eating mushrooms that way, and then I started eating mushrooms, and then I started cooking with mushrooms. But now I'm kind of back on I'm not a huge fan of mushroom train, and I think it's just because of the texture. Not a huge fan of the texture, so if you cut it up small, I'll definitely eat it. If there's a lot of other things to mix it in with, I'll eat it. It's like tomatoes. I don't like tomato on its own in a salad, but you put it in something like spaghetti, I'll eat it. Like, I absolutely zero issue there. I will eat it in a spaghetti, but I won't have it on things like burgers and stuff like that. So, you know, it's kind of annoying. I really don't like not liking things, and yeah, like I was saying, I am trying new things not necessarily new things, trying things that I didn't like as a kid, or trying things that, like, okay, I like this, and that thing is kind of similar to this, so maybe I'll try that. And, you know, I'm building up the things I will eat, and becoming less of a picky eater, but it's still, like, yeah, I'm very, very picky, and not a huge fan of the fact that I am. But, you know, I guess that's my issue and something I can work on. But I'm very lucky though, because I'm not that picky or even actually allergic to really anything. I have intolerances, but not any allergies. And because of that, yeah, like there's still quite a lot of food available to me. Like there are some foods I won't eat because of things outside of texture and taste. Like, I won't eat pork because I got food poisoning once, and I don't want to ever deal with that again. And the best way to do that is to avoid the foods that give you food poisoning, such as pork. You know, bacon, I honestly couldn't tell you the last time I had bacon, but I'm not opposed to it. If someone put bacon in my food, I would eat it. But I won't eat, like, pulled pork. Like, that actually, pulled pork is exactly what gave me food poisoning. Which is unfortunate, because slow-cooked food is really, really, really good. So yeah, but yeah, I won't eat pork. I'll eat ham. Again, I haven't had ham in, like, forever. But I'll eat ham and bacon, but I won't eat much else from a pig. Just because, yeah, I don't want to get food poisoning again. And I won't eat seafood because, A, not a huge fan of it. And B, it's just not really good for the environment. I know there are sustainable businesses out there that have sustainable ways of fishing. But I just think it would be easier if I personally didn't eat all that. I just don't want to have to deal with worrying about whether or not the seafood I have obtained is sustainably sourced. If I just don't get any, I don't have to worry about it at all. But yeah, it's just mostly that is taste, I'll be honest. I do not like majority of seafood out there. I can't even stand the smell of it. It's the same with eggs. I cannot stand the smell of eggs. Like, absolutely cannot stand it, which is not the greatest when every single one of my roommates eats eggs, and every single one of my roommates will make eggs at least some point during the week. Like, someone is making eggs at some point. And yeah, it's so much fun. Like, don't get me wrong, if you put eggs in a cake or in cookies or something like that, I'll eat it. Go for gold. I will eat it. But I will not eat it as it's like, I won't eat an omelette, or I can't think of what's the it's like a baked egg dish. I can't think of the name of that, but I won't eat that either. I keep thinking pavlova, but that's not the word I'm thinking of. That's a dessert. I also won't eat pavlova, but that's not the point. The point is, actually kind of is the point. The point is I'm very picky. But anyway, that all being aside, that whole ramble and rant came on because of the fact that I'm building a coffee store and I don't like coffee. This is, if you've never met me before, if you've never listened to any of my videos, this is how it works. I just start talking, and then we end up down some random tangent, and I'm like, how did we even get here? Like, what I should be talking about the build, and suddenly I'm off in my own little la la land talking about random nonsense. But anyway, probably should actually talk about the challenge. So if you've never heard of the A to Z challenge before, it is a challenge where I, in February, do a letter every single day for 26 days straight, because there are 26 letters in the English alphabet. And yeah, I basically just do a build every single day for it. So, you know, obviously we're up to letter F, and tomorrow will be G, which I am so excited because, I mean, yes, I am excited for the build. It's actually the lot across the road from this, but I accidentally built it in the wrong save file. So when I built it in that save file, the lot was, like, all the lots around it were completely empty, but then I picked it up and put it back into the lot in this save file. So it's now on the right save file, but in building it, you won't see this in the background. But no, the reason why I'm excited is because I've already finished that build. Like, it's all done, it's all dusted, the short and the reel and the post, like, everything is already done except for the video. So today I'm going to be working on the video, and hopefully I can get it recorded pretty soon. I don't know if I will record it today or tomorrow morning, but the long and the short of it is I'm going to be ahead. And that's, to me, that's the exciting bit. because I have been a little bit like racing to keep on time. I'm a couple of hours ahead most of the time, so the fact that I could get a day ahead is super exciting. And that means tomorrow I can work on the H build, which is about halfway done. And the I one, again, is already done. So that means tomorrow I could also, quickly zoom through editing that video, and then suddenly I'm 2 days ahead. Like that's insane. In what space of 2 days I could get up to 2 days ahead, even though currently I am 0 days ahead. Like I am on schedule, but 0 days ahead. Well, actually, no, that means tomorrow, hang on. No, tomorrow I'd be 2 days ahead. The day after, I could probably get 3, actually, no, yeah, that, okay, look, there's like half of the builds done, half of them not, and now that I'm at a point where I know for sure these builds are done, I can just get in and get them done, and I'm so excited about that. So, yeah, I'm very keen for that. I'm also very keen for some of the builds that I haven't quite finished yet, because I have these big ideas of like, I want to do this, I want to build like that, and then I end up doing something completely different, or I don't have an idea, and then I end up doing something, and it like, I don't know how that idea came about, but that's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, I'm very, very excited for this challenge. And if you guys want to participate in this challenge, I do run it from July to December, meaning you guys get a letter a week instead of one a day, because one a day is a lot. It is intense, it is insane, and I do not recommend it. But I also run it as a CAS challenge, so it's not just building, but it is also a CAS challenge. So if you want to participate, you are not just limited to building. So yeah, if you want to, create the Flintstones as your creation, you absolutely can go ahead and do that. But if you want to build a farm, you absolutely also can do that. If you just want to build a little room as well, you do not need to feel stressed in building a proper build. I say proper build, like a fully fleshed out build. If you just want to do a room, that is absolutely a-okay as well. And I also don't care if you start building early. Absolutely go nuts and build early. That is a-okay with me, because I understand how big and crazy these builds can be. Or, how busy life can get. So, if you want to start now, absolutely feel free. And I'll definitely let you guys know when we get closer, like what the hashtags are, where and when to upload, and all that sort of jazz. Usually I do whatever on Instagram, and I'm not sure. I'm very unsure about what I'm going to be doing and how I'm going to be doing it, but I've got a few months to figure it out. Every year I've been kind of doing it a little bit differently. I say every year, like I've been doing it for years on end. This will be my 3rd year running it. But yeah, it's kind of very difficult to run the challenge because it's a little intense. Look, it's something that, like, looking at it, there's so much to do behind the scenes with it, and so many dates, and putting all these builds together and whatnot. I was supposed to be doing this month, looking at every single build and every single cast creation, but due to a couple of circumstances, I have chosen not to this year. The first reason is because I am utterly stressed with how much I have to do this year. Like, it's just that there's so much going on, and I've also got personal things that are needing to be taken care of and whatnot. So yeah, there's just a lot going on, and I don't want to have more added to that when I'm already kind of, I wouldn't say my cup is completely full, but I feel like if I added the tours on top of that, my cup would be overflowing. Like I would be not sleeping at all, or I wouldn't be having a personal life, and I don't really want to do that. Because it is a lot just to set up that stream, like to set up where all the builds are and getting all the cast people, getting all the casts set up and whatnot. Like, it can take me an hour or two, and at the moment I don't have time for that. And also at the moment, like, I would be, yeah, again, I would have to get up really, really early, go to bed really, really late, and I am very strict with not giving up sleep. To me, it's very, very important. So I have to figure out what in my life is something to get rid of elsewhere instead of getting rid of sleeping, because yeah, like I said before, sleeping is very, very important to me, and I've long ago made that decision that it is not really something that I'm okay with giving up. I get into bed pretty much the same time every night. I usually get up at the same time every morning. Recently I have had to set an alarm just because there is so much going on, and I feel so exhausted that I'm like, I just want to sleep, man. So I set the alarm to make sure that yes, I do get enough sleep. Like, I'm still getting 8 hours sleep, but also I'm getting up and actually getting things done. So yeah, that's kind of why we are not touring them. Also, there's not many builds. I believe most weeks only have 2 entries, 1 entry in CAS and 2 in building. So last year when I streamed every single day except for the last 2 days. I stopped on the 26th, basically, is what I'm trying to say. I would stream up until the 26th of February, and half of those streams I would just go in and tour the builds, and then the other half I would tour the builds and go do some building myself. And yeah, I just, for those really, really short days, I don't feel like it would be maybe an hour of streaming. It's just not something that I feel is worth it. And I know a lot of people won't be awake during that time, so to me it doesn't make sense to have people miss out on seeing their builds being toured and things like that. So yeah, definitely something I'm going to be working on figuring out in the future, and seeing what I can do for next year, this time next year, basically. I've already got some ideas in my head of what I want to do for my builds for this time next year, but obviously I have to actually, get there. And I'm definitely going to start way earlier. I say that every year, and every year I start in about November, and then I get to this time and I've got half the builds done. So I'm definitely going to start slowly doing them probably in July alongside you guys. Like, I will probably dedicate 1 stream a week to being like, okay, I'm going to start the A to Z challenge here, and then work on that build, and then the next week I get to work. Sorry, I get 1 stream a week to work on that build. And then outside of stream I can finish it or leave it till later or whatever. And I don't know, I think that would be pretty fun and exciting to do something like that, because it means getting very much ahead. And even if it means that I get 26 half finished builds, that's still, like, by the time I get to November and I can, like, really dive deep in and that's normally when I do it, really dive deep in and start getting stuff done, like the build's done, I'm definitely going to be done, again, even if I only do 1 a week. That's 1, 2, that's 4, 12, 4, 8, 12, yeah, 12 weeks, 12 builds completely done, and then, I don't know how to count, 14 left that are mostly done, or half done, and that's a lot better than where I'm sitting at right now in the, well, I wouldn't say the middle, but like during the challenge, because right now, yeah, I'm about halfway done in terms of starting builds and a quarter of the way through finishing them. So yeah, definitely need to get some building done this week. Although I've only got 1 build this week that isn't finished. The rest are finished. So yeah, hopefully this week I can get some building done, get some videos edited. It's the editing of the videos that are really slowing me down. When I used to edit in Blender, it was a lot quicker, but I did have a lot more issues over there, and those issues probably they started to get longer and longer and bigger, and it got harder and harder to edit, But I guess with the way I'm editing now, because I'm learning it and getting better and getting faster, I think eventually I'll get to a point where I'm like, cool, done, easy, bam, like next thing, let's go. And so, yeah, I'm not too worried about having that be an issue. Like, it is currently an issue, but I don't think it's always going to be an issue. So, yeah, I don't know. Definitely something that I am 100% working on. But anyway, yeah, that I try not to like ramble on about editing because I've been doing that like all week. But to be fair, this is like my third video, third video using DaVinci, and yeah, I'm still getting comfortable, still getting used to it, getting a little bit faster, and I actually kind of love this one a little bit more, not gonna lie to you guys. But anyway, I should probably continue talking about this build. So yeah, you can see here we are working our way through this burger shop, which I think I just called it like Land Grab Burgers or something in my head. Like if you check my Instagram, in the description of the reel and the post that I shared, it says Land Grab Burgers, and then the other store I ended up calling Moon Doubloons because I was like, well, what's kind of like the opposite of Starbucks? Well, the opposite of star is moon, and then bucks is money, it's cash, it's doubloons. Okay, cool. It's called Moon Doubloons, which I think is such a stupid name, but I love it. I think it's hilarious. And I imagine, like, yeah, maybe the Land Grabs do own this burger joint, and that's probably why it's a little bit fancy and bougie, but I reckon Johnny Zest owns Moon Doubloons, and he's called it that because he knew his parents would hate something like that, and he's only running this store just to compete with them. That's it. It's literally just to compete with them and be like, look, I can be successful too. So yeah, like that's pretty much it. Also, one thing I did want to note that I kind of think I forgot to note in previous videos is that with some of these builds, I'm trying to build them as if they were for real life. So some of these I'm definitely trying to be aware of people with mobility issues, people who use wheelchairs and things like that. So in the arcade, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I use a roof to look like a ramp, and that's because, well, you know, people who use wheelchairs need to be able to get up into elevated spaces, and so I made, yeah, this little ramp. And I tried to make it as long as possible so that it wasn't really super steep, because there's a few people on Instagram who keep popping up, and they basically just, I say basically, but part of what they share is them going around in their day-to-day life, showing how the world works for them or doesn't work for them. I've seen videos of like people saying, of one of the people trying to go up a ramp and into I think it might have been a bar, and there was something like kind of blocking the entrance to the ramp, or like it was a gate or something, and it was really inconvenient to get up. It was a bit steep, and then right at the entrance to the ramp, so if you were standing at the bottom of the stairs looking up at the door, the ramp would be to the right, and as you're walking up the stairs, the person in the wheelchair would be going up the same direction as you, but then when they get to halfway up the ramp, it turns turns left and goes towards the door that you would be walking towards, or the door you're looking at from the bottom of the stairs. But the ramp was super narrow, and when the doors were open, they swing outwards. That left barely any room for the person in the wheelchair to get around the door and into the venue. But the problem was they put like a sign or something, or a chair or something blocking the rest of the pathway, and I don't know, it's just stuff like that. Like I know The Sims doesn't have wheelchairs in it. You know, there are some not typical aspects of life that are being added to this game. You know, hearing aids have been added, and is it vitiligo? I feel like I'm saying that wrong, but that's been added, and I don't know, is it maybe a few other things. I really don't do gameplay, so I don't know for sure everything else that's been added, but you know, I I know that wheelchairs and walkers and things like that haven't really been added to the game, but I still try and make some of my builds inclusive. I know that there's no reason for the Sims to like build like that, but sometimes, I don't know, I feel like, you know, you never know who might need a wheelchair or when you might need a wheelchair. You know, you might think that you are someone who's never going to need one, and maybe one day you get into a car accident and now your whole life's changed. So, you know, I want to make sure that these things are in the back of my mind. I even looked up, because I was editing this video and I was like, well, the bathrooms in both places, especially the burger place, there's one that the bathroom's a bit bigger. And I was thinking, like, yeah, the bigger one would be for wheelchairs, so that if you do use a wheelchair, you've got more room to move around in there and be comfortable, and you're not trapped in this like tiny little room. The Moon Doubloons bathrooms, probably, I'm not too sure how wheelchair friendly they are. So if you use a wheelchair, definitely let me know down below how wheelchair friendly would these places be. I looked up the width of a door in Australia, like standard door, and I looked up the width of a standard wheelchair, and I think it was a standard door is about 82 centimeters, but in places such as fast food restaurants and whatnot, so non-residential buildings or accessible homes will typically go, I think it was 92 centimeters wide, and I believe a standard wheelchair is 63 centimeters wide. Again, this is all from a quick Google. I did not go to any, like, it was literally just like the first numbers that I saw. So please, again, if you know the actual measurements and whatnot, definitely let me know down below, so I can be using correct measurements. But yeah, with this build, we are going to say that these doors are a minimum of 92 centimeters, if not more. I mean, the door to enter these places are both pretty wide, pretty big, so they're probably way bigger than that. But the bathroom doors, we're gonna go a minimum of 92 centimeters, just to make sure that yeah, if you use a wheelchair, you can definitely fit. You can definitely feel comfortable and accessible. And I did try and leave the walkway from the entrance to the bathrooms very clear. I mean, definitely in the Moon Doubloons cafe, that is definitely clear, because when you walk in the door, it's straight to your left, and there's no furniture out the front of it. There's no furniture, like there's no tables or chairs or anything like that. And then same with like getting to the counter, like where you order. In the Moon Doubloons, you just go straight. You just go straight, and there's nothing in your way. And then with the burger joint here, there is a table at the door, but it's not right at the door. It's kind of hopefully pushed across to the side enough that people could fit through. And again, if it's not, please let me know, because again, I know that the Sims, it doesn't matter, but in real life, like, I don't know, I don't know, I just feel like, I don't know, it's something that I like to do. I don't know, it's also something that, like, gives you an extra bit of challenge, because if you're building just thinking of, okay, will the Sims be able to walk through here, you can make the tiniest of tiny spaces. But I don't really want to do that. I kind of want to make it a bit more, again, like I was saying, a bit more accessible. I don't use a wheelchair, but I have had family members who have used wheelchairs, and yeah, it's just something that I think if we builders kind of just paid a little bit more attention to. I don't, again, I know it's not important, but to me, I think it is. But yeah, like I was saying, if you use a wheelchair, please let me know how good I did. If there's anything that you guys think I should have done differently. The one thing that I was kind of like, oh, I'm not gonna really be able to do that, we don't really have that in the game, is that the places where you wash your hand, sinks, that's why couldn't I remember the word sink? Sinks are all at the same height, so I didn't really have an option of picking a lower sink. But because this is a Sims and we can make this whatever we want, these are sinks that lower and raise depending on what height you set them to, like a desk that you can raise up and down. So that's the case. And tables are also set to a comfortable height for wheelchair users, which I feel like, I could be wrong, but I feel like a lot of tables are. Again, if I'm wrong, please let me know. But I don't know, I feel like a lot of tables probably are. I know not all tables are, like there are, like bars have those really, really tall tables. Those are definitely not wheelchair friendly. In fact, people who use wheelchairs, if they don't have, if like the table just has the legs on the end, you guys could probably like go underneath it and not have to duck. That's how tall some of them are. I may also just be a tiny bit short, so, you know, and think those tables are insanely high and have to climb some chairs to get into them. I'm not that short, but they're pretty tall tables, okay? To be honest, I don't go to bars very often. I mean, pub food, don't get me wrong, absolutely love pub food. Just something that is just chef's kiss. But I don't go to pubs and bars all that often, so I fortunately do not have to sit at those extremely high chairs. Normally, whenever I'm going out to eat somewhere, it is at a place that has chairs where I don't have to climb to get into them, or have to use this. Some chairs, like the bar stool chairs, have the little ledge lip bit, edge bit. Like there's the chair legs, but then there's a bit of metal running between the two chair legs, and I have to stand on that to get in the chair, or to get out of the chair. But yeah, most of the places I go, thankfully, they're just average traditional height chairs, I guess. I don't know. I don't know normal height chairs, but you guys probably know what I'm like. Just anywhere you go where there's a chair that height. But anyway, yeah, we're getting close to the end of this video, and for some reason I thought this build wasn't done, but when I went to go take some recordings for and screenshots for the short reel and posts that I do over on Instagram, I only added, there's some like wall hanging cabinet things that I put up at some point, and I just added a few more. That's it. Like, it was done, it was finished. I probably should have added some artwork on the wall behind, if you walk in the door, there's like the little indent to the right where those chairs are without the windows. I probably should have added some art or something like that there. And I can't remember if the wall on the back, I might have changed the colour of it. If I didn't, I probably also should have added some art there. But other than that, you know, I feel pretty happy with how this turned out. The Moon Doubloons is definitely a lot more bougie than the, what did I call it? Land grab burgers. It's definitely a lot more bougie, a lot more, I feel like influencers would probably go here. You know, a lot of young people who go to coffee shops to get work done. I don't know if I would do that. I mean, obviously, I've studied at uni. You guys, if you've been around for a long time, you know that I have spent basically my entire life in some sort of schooling, and I've never thought to go study at a cafe. You know, I'd go to the library, I would sit in like the common areas of where I lived, or just like in some quiet, like in a quiet section of one of the buildings at uni. Like that was fine, but like a coffee shop never really crossed my mind. You know, there was some places to eat at uni, but those were all like chatting and talking and hanging out and things like that. Some people would be having meetings there. They were usually staff though. And yeah, it just never really crossed my mind to go to a cafe. I don't know how successful I'd be at getting work done at a cafe. I'd definitely be distracted, like watching people and and then I'd just go home because I'm like, this is too distracting. This is too overstimulating. Too many people, too much noise. I'm definitely wanting to go study in a quiet area, but bring headphones and listen to something. That's probably my most productive point, which is kind of funny thinking like, oh, well, you know, I'm going to go somewhere quiet, but then I'm going to put headphones on and listen to something, so it's no longer quiet anymore. But sometimes my headphones would die, or I'd forget to bring them, or I just wouldn't put them in, and I would just work away in silence, like listening to people type or write or cough or flip pages of books or whatever. So yeah, I don't know, I prefer much more of a quiet, neat, zen place to study, but I know other people need like they just need lots of other people and lots of noise, and it kind of drowns out the distractions in their head, and I get that. You know, I don't think I can study in complete silence the entire time. Eventually I'll get sick of it and listen to something, but other times I get overstimulated by listening to things, and I just go back to going to working in silence. You know, the last maybe 5 minutes of editing this video, it was just me staring at the computer in silence, kind of, yeah, getting some work done. But most of the editing of this video, I was listening to videos and whatnot, so, you know, it's something that is, you know, it's different for everyone, and we all have different ways of existing and studying and focusing and getting work done, and I kind of love that about humans, is, yeah, we're all just so different, and we have different ways of living, and we have different ways of thinking and existing, and I know sometimes that can cause problems, but most of the time I like it, enjoy the fact that we are all different and we have different ways of existing and studying. You know, the people I studied with were the people who studied the similar ways to me, and the people I didn't study with were people who were studying in completely different places because they needed something completely different, but we were all still friends. Like, you know, I used to live at uni, and some of the people who I lived with, you know, they would study in their room and not be able to study in our little common area, but I wouldn't be able to study in my room. I'd get so distracted, and being in the common area, like, people were there to kind of hold me accountable, not knowing that that's what they were doing. I was just existing there, and they were like, you know, cooking breakfast or dinner or lunch or whatever, and I'd be working, because I'd be out there like for one entire day. I would go out there and I would smash out a bunch of work, and then I'd be done, and I'd feel really, really accomplished. Like, maybe I wouldn't get everything done, but I would get a decent chunk of things done that I was no longer stressed. During, like, the really hectic times at uni, I would be out there for, like, maybe 3 or 4 days. I would obviously, like, pack up and go to bed, but my roommates knew that if my stuff was left out overnight, I would be coming back the next morning to continue working, because I needed to separate my brain from study and relaxation. And so, yeah, I'd just keep my stuff out there and then go back out the next day and keep working, and I found that to be really good. But yeah, like I said, one of my roommates would study in their room because they were like, I can't. Anytime you guys are out there, I just want to talk to you guys. And I'm like, I'm glad that you don't. I'm glad that you study in your room so that you don't distract me and I don't distract you. But some of my roommates would also study in the, like, little common area with me because they also had a similar study session to me, and we would also make sure we would have breaks, so, you know, it balanced out for everyone with the way that everyone else worked, so we had a good little system going on there. But yeah, that rant and rave about that was basically the long way of me saying I would not do well at studying at coffee shops. So yeah, definitely let me know down below, where's the best place for you to focus? It doesn't have to be study, but if you do work in places other than at your place of employment, definitely let me know. Yeah, like, do you guys prefer working in coffee shops, at home, in quiet places, in loud places, whatever it is? Definitely let me know down below, because I love to learn about people and hearing that sort of fun stuff. But anyway, we are getting very close to the end of this video. which I'm very, very happy to say, because as much as I love this build, I'm so glad it's done. You know, I feel like that a lot about pretty much all my builds. I'm so glad they're done when they're done, because I'm done. I want to be done with them, but I also want to keep building, so I need to finish this one to get to the next one. But yeah, anyway, that's enough of me rambling. If you guys have enjoyed this video, my rambles, whatever I have had to say, whatever, if you've enjoyed any of that, make sure to subscribe. I come out with a new video every single day except the last 2 days of February, to give myself some time to rest and relax. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys!